Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here, y'all. We're here for Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 13. But we are here talking about the after party, y'all. The after party with Keisha Knight Pulliam. And I don't know if y'all been watching what's going on. I don't want to say it's a spoiler because there really ain't no spoiler at this point in time because Michelle has basically told us in the regular episode that David's lying and he suspects it's Madison. And we even see the previews coming up next week where both of them get confronted. And if you haven't been watching the blogs or the news, it's all out there right now that David and Madison are together. Yep, they together, y'all. They are together in real life. IRL, in real life, they are together. And it's what would this make? A year after the show was produced? So that means they must be going strong. I sure hope they fix up that basement apartment. I sure hope they fix it up. For what we've been told, they've been spotted out and about several times. People have sent me pictures. One time, I guess somebody said they was in Target. I hope they were shopping for some new furniture for that new basement apartment that they might be living in. But anyway, right now, I guess all we doing now is we're not trying to figure it out no more because we know what the truth is. The truth is, yep, they had something going on during the show. We don't know if they slept together, but we know it's an emotional relationship because once you texting somebody, I want to eat you up, that right there, that's saying a lot. So we know that's going on. But on the after party, we had Juan Wancho, we had Madison, and we had David. Lady in red, the lady in red, Madison, is sitting here in the chair. And you could just tell by her body language she with David. Her legs is all, any body language experts. I mean, this body language right here tells you she's with David because she is darn near facing David and she not even facing Keisha Knight Pulliam, who is the host, nor front and center. She with David. She is with David. First of all, Keisha Knight Pulliam says, how's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are y'all doing? Madison says, we trying to get through this. We just here to watch these people squirm because we know the truth now, Madison and David. We know the truth, but we here just to watch you squirm and see what other kind of lies you're going to come up with. Let's just see how good of a liar y'all are. That's what I'm here for right now, to be honest with you. But Madison said there's no romantic connection. There's no physical connection. It's a lot going on. I know it is. Lost phones, sexy text. It's a lot going on, Madison. And David says, this process is rough. It's like a roller coaster. Yeah, because I'm sure Madison is riding you, David, like a roller coaster. I'm quite sure that's going on. And Juan just says he's just trying to embrace the unknown. He says, as Carla would say, embrace the unknown. Well, Juancho, I'm glad you learning something from Carla. I really am glad you learning something. But they jump right into it. Keisha Knight Pulliam starts asking Juan, what is going on with this Dr. Pepper wannabe tantric sex yoga instructor? How old is Dr. Pepper? I know Dr. Pepper is in her 70s. This woman has got to be in her 70s as well. And she's over here doing this tantric sex with Carla and Juan. And like I said in my original video, she was inappropriate. Inappropriate. You wrong, girl. You are wrong for wearing what you're wearing. And Juan tells us, y'all, that he's like, I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared for this tantric yoga. He said he wanted to take it slow, go real slow. But from what he tells us, this woman showed up with no panties on. No panties on, not the crotch out. Are you kidding me, Juan? I sure hope. Did she shave? Was it a bushy gray hair crotch? Good Lord, lady. Good Lord. But he's trying to take it slow. He said this woman was trying to do a whole lot more than she should be trying to do. Juan was like, he didn't want to do nothing too exotic where, the penis got to come out. But he said this woman showed up prepared and ready. She was really trying to do a whole lot more than Juan wanted to do. They had to dial her back. And he said, but luckily it was no penis slips. But he said she didn't have on no panties. No granny panties, no nothing. Nothing. Girl, she was letting it all just air out. And her legs was crossed too. Oh, good Lord. Where did they find her? Lady, where did they find her? But Keisha and I was asking Juan, like, how is it that you want to take it slow? How's Carla dealing with that? And Juan said, Carla's not giving me any pushback. She's willing to let me go at the pace I want to go at. And everything is going good. But I know I wasn't ready to do no extra stuff with this tantra sex lady. He said, no. I'm not doing none of that. When Keisha and I pull him asked David, how would you have felt if this lady showed up to you? And David said he would have been happy. I know Madison cut him my eye. They didn't show what her look was. I know she cut him my eye like, what? What do you mean you would have been happy? David, we're starting to find out about David. I don't want to call him a full-on F-boy, but there's parts about David that he don't think. He don't really think, because I'm thinking right now, I'm like, if you were Madison, why are you talking about you would have been happy if this woman showed up for you and Michelle? David, I mean, when you with Michelle, you don't protect Michelle, and now you with Madison, and you ain't even protecting Madison with your words. Boy, who you for, David? Yourself. Let's be real, yourself. Just like he didn't give a damn about Alan. David don't care about no one else but himself. David's a user. David is a user. He uses his parents. He used his parents for a job to work at that bar and didn't even save the bar. I guess he wasn't running it very well. He's using his parents to stay in the basement apartment. He's kind of using Madison. I'm not saying he don't have no real feelings for her, but he used Madison at a time when he was trying to get away from Michelle. So Madison just became like the fallback woman. I'm telling you right now. He tried to use Denise to lie for him. He used all those other women, if it was even true, when he was taking them to coffee or texting. David is a user. He's the type of person where he needs his needs met, his things comforted first. Like he said, he's a mama's boy. That's what he's used to. He's used to a dynamic being. He's the child. He's in a child position. And the mother does whatever she needs to do to protect and care for the child. But he never ventures into the role of protecting and caring for another person. Let's just say it. But anyway, Keisha and I pull him, says, well, let's get into this, David. Let's get into this whole big old lie you done told. Because now that we know it's a lie, it's a lie. So they start showing the clip where Pastor Cal is talking to David and saying, David, you hiding something. You hiding some, David. Let me see your cell phone. Call Denise. He's like, nope, I'm not doing none of that. I'm not doing any of it. And Keisha and I pull and says, well, why didn't you just confess to Michelle? Why didn't you tell her the truth? And he says, because basically she, at this point in time, she just wants to know because she wants to know. She doesn't want to know because she cares about me. So first of all, he's saying, I don't need to give her any explanation, and she doesn't deserve any explanation. This is his position. He's basically saying, because Michelle doesn't care for me, I don't owe her anything. I don't necessarily agree with that, David. I do believe that Michelle was just asking you because she didn't want to know. I do believe Michelle was just asking you because she wants to nail you even more to the stake and justify now all the bad things she's done to you. I do believe that. But then I still don't believe that it's right for you to be going off and sex texting other women. I don't. I can believe both at the same time. And I believe you was wrong, David. You were wrong. But Keisha Knight says, why not just be truthful? And he says, well, she doesn't deserve the truth because she could care less. And he says, because all these things she's doing in the background, she don't care for me. So why should I care for her? Like I said before, I don't really know if David cares for too many people. It's real easy for him not to care for you. This right here, deciding not to care for Michelle, is easy for him because I don't think David is a caretaker. David is a dependent. He's used to receiving. So therefore, he's not used to the person who has to be the one to care for someone else. But anyway, he gives this example of the reason why Michelle could care less for him is because he said they had a conversation and she had gotten her nails done. And he was like, oh, where did you get your nails done? And she said she got her nails done in Soho. And then what David says, oh yeah, I used to date a girl in Soho. There's the lack of protection. Why are you bringing up another woman again? Because David just doesn't think about other people. He thinks about himself constantly, his needs. That's why he couldn't wait 8 weeks. Remember, I kept saying I really don't have a problem with David and Michelle being together, but the part I'm really, really upset about, or I shouldn't say upset, disappointed about, is that they couldn't wait 8 weeks. The marriage was only 8 weeks. 8 weeks. Good Lord, they couldn't wait 8 weeks. But you can't wait 8 weeks when you're kind of like childlike. You need it now. That's the point of a tantrum. That's a kid. I want it now, and I want it now, and I want it now. There's no sort of self-regulation. You see what I'm saying? That's why parents have to regulate kids, give kids boundaries and curfews and rules and regulations. Because when you're a child, when you're young, you don't know how to regulate yourself. You don't know how to regulate your money. You don't know how to regulate, your work. You don't know how to regulate your responsibilities. You don't know how to do any of those things because you're used to being a child and being taken care of. And so in this moment, what David does is to his wife, oh yeah, I used to date a woman in Soho. What's the point of saying that, David? That's immature. It's just an immature sort of response. And that's what you're kind of seeing with David is is very, very immature. And, but then you know what? Michelle can squabble with the best of them when he said that was a girl. I used to date a girl in Soho, and Michelle fired back and says, well, is that the girl you was texting? Shots fired. Not shots fired, shots returned. We're in a gun battle. And then she said to him, because it really doesn't matter, David, because I could care less. And so that's what he used when he said, why do I need to tell her that I'm cheating on her emotionally or any kind of way when she just told me she could care less? Keisha and I said, you know what, David, when you know better, you should do better. And the problem with Keisha and I pulling him is that ain't the mantra that David lives by. David's mantra is when you know better, you still don't have to do better. You wait around for someone else to do better. You ain't got to do better. You wait for them to do better. She asked Juan, she said, Juan, what do you think? What does your moral compass say in this situation? And Juan says, it isn't right. It's deceitful. It's not correct. He said, but it is hard to judge because we got two wrong people. That's what makes the situation hard to judge. But you know what? It may be hard to pick a winner or pick a side, but you can say they're both wrong. What's wrong with two people being wrong? Why you got to pick who's right and who's wrong? Because where I stand is they're both wrong. Michelle was wrong in the beginning, and David is wrong right now. You both is wrong, 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 wrong. Keisha and I said, well, I don't really want to judge you, David, but I do want to hold you accountable. Well, like I've always been saying, to hold a person accountable, they have to first accept responsibility. And at this moment, David's not really accepting his responsibility because what he's saying is all bets are off because I can retaliate to Michelle any kind of way I want to. Because Michelle rejected me, there are no bounds, there are no restrictions around my retaliation. I don't know. That's not even what the law says. I mean, if I push you on the street and, I push you and I put hands on you, but I push you and then you take out a gun and you shoot me, I think you're going to jail for murder. I ain't gonna lie. I believe any lawyers out there, you going for jail for murder because I don't think it's equal in response. If I push you and then that means you can respond any kind of way you want to and you can pull out a gun and shoot me. No, David. You have to be accountable for not responding in an appropriate manner. But Keisha and I pull him says, are you still in this marriage, David? Are you still in it? He said maybe 50-50. 50% of me is still with Michelle and the other 50% is with Madison. He said, but I don't know, it's hard to keep trying when you just get rejected. And he said, you don't even get no friendship. I'm telling you, it's hard to be with someone you ain't getting what you want. That's like a child. A child does not like to hear the word no. They do not. They do not like to hear the word no. And sometimes they will do whatever they want to do to get their yes. And what David is saying is, I couldn't just sit here and keep getting rejected with the no's from Michelle. I had to go on over here to Madison where I was going to get a yes. A yes. I need a win. That's what David was saying. I don't do well with no's. Remember, I'm a mama's boy. My mama gave me everything I want. And I'm used to women that give me everything I want. And that's what I'm looking for. And Michelle ain't it. She ain't it. Well, Keisha and I tell them, well, we find out this ain't about food. We find out this text ain't about food, David. So the gig is up. And what do you got to say to Cousin Denise? He says, Cousin Denise is my number one. Even after she ratted him out. Good. I'm glad Denise did rat him out. Ain't nobody carrying your burdens to the pearly gates. Your lies. We got our own lies we gotta attest to. We ain't gonna be attesting to the lies we done told for David. And Keisha and I said, well, what did Denise say to you after you talked to her after the show? And he said all them Puerto Rican and his family got on him talking about that they ain't gonna put up with this bull crap, this bullshit David is doing, especially when he's out here doing bull crap. They said absolutely not, absolutely not. And he said, Cousin Denise cussed him out, told him, WTF, WTF, you put me in this spot and you the one that effed up. So he said he had to apologize to Cousin Denise. And he says, looking back, I probably should have just gone ahead and confessed to everything. And Keisha Knight Pullian says, I'm happy you confessed to all the women in your life you love. And, you said sorry to all of them. And then she switched over there to Madison and said, Madison, what are you thinking about all this that's going on? Him lying to Michelle and all this other kind of stuff. And you would think Madison would say, you know what? It was wrong for him to lie. But no, of course not. Madison looked right over there at her man and said, no man or no person wants to be in this realization. And a lot needs to be talked about. And a lot of conversations need to be had. So basically, Madison, you said that it wasn't wrong for him to cheat on his wife. Girl, you better be careful. You better be careful. David, make sure you save this response of Madison's towards you when you were texting another woman while you were married. Because if it comes about that you do it again while you're with Madison, you want to make sure she got this same attitude when it's her. Make sure she keeps this same attitude when she finds out you might have texted another woman or had an inappropriate conversation, relationship, anything with another woman. Make sure you replay these words so she can say, it was good for you then, Madison, when I was doing it to another woman. I hope it's good for you now. Be careful, ladies. Be careful how you got them, because sometimes the way you got them will also be the same way you'll lose them or you'll let him go, right? So David said, if I had a do-over, I wouldn't send a text message. I would be honest to Michelle. And he says, obviously, I need to work on myself. Yep, you need to work on yourself. You need to work on that basement apartment. You need to work on your bank account. And you know what? At least he done worked on this hairstyle. No more side ponytail, y'all. He done got the little French braids going back. So it's called, what's it called? The fishtail? I don't know what it's called. But it looks like he worked on that a little bit. And Keisha and I left him with some parting words of advice and says, you know what? When you show up who you are, authentic to yourself, then you'll attract the type of people who are supposed to be in your life. Okay, Keisha and I or you'll attract the people you deserve. Sometimes liars deserve liars. Sometimes when you show up authentically and you're a liar, then you deserve a liar. Sometimes thieves get taken by other thieves. That's right. When you show up in the world, sometimes you attract exactly what you deserve. And in this particular case, I'm thinking that Madison and David make a great couple because they both obviously don't think anything is wrong with sending salacious messages to other women while they're married. Obviously, they don't think it's wrong. They think, if you did me wrong, I can do anything back to you I want to. That's how they operate out here in the world. And after all that was said and done, Keisha Knight turned her attention over here to Madison to play that little clip where Alan was telling Madison that, you know what, he didn't want her to take this in the wrong way, but I got to tell you, when I first met you, I kind of thought differently of you. I thought you were a party girl, because I would see you partying with your ass up in the air and all this other kind of stuff. And then they turn to Madison and Keisha and I says, well, how do you feel about that? And Madison starts crying the crocodile tears, fake old crocodile tears. And Madison turns it around and saying she's been going through this her whole life as a beautiful woman and in her career, and people make assumptions of her. Well, hold on, wait a minute, Madison. First of all, Alan never said that he had that perception of you because of the way you looked. You've turned this to be about your looks. What he said is, I had that perception of you because of the way that you were acting. Acting and looks are two different things. So what Madison never did was she didn't really take ownership of the behavior that Alan was talking about. Instead, she diverted the conversation to be about her looks. And Alan never mentioned, I thought you were a party girl because you're beautiful. No, he said, I thought you were a party girl because you like to party and you like to go to bars and you like to drink and you just got kicked out of Oktoberfest and you stand up on tables and shake your ass. That has nothing to do with the way you look. And what's so interesting is she sat here and cried all these crocodile tears talking about how people say these things to her in her career. She wants the people to know that she works hard for what she has. Like, once again, I don't know why your coworkers are saying this to you, Madison, but you act like you're the only beautiful woman in the workplace, which is not true. And more than likely, maybe you're doing in the workplace what you're doing at these bars. There are a lot of inappropriate women in the workplace. You ever been at a Christmas party and you see a woman drinking too much, standing up on the table, dancing? Madison is inappropriate. She's reckless. Just like my thumbnail said. I said it before. She's reckless. So is David. They're both reckless. The father told us Madison was reckless when he said, be sure to have an STD test, Alan, because my daughter is reckless in who she sleeps with. Madison is reckless. She lives her life recklessly. And another clue that I know she lives her life recklessly, because what she said was men have told her in the past that they would act like her too if they had daddy's money. Listen to me one more time. Madison said that she has had men in the past say the same thing to her as Alan said. And they've also told her, I guess I could act like you too if I had daddy's money. And what Madison turned that around again, once again, was about, I make my own money. So once again, she didn't get what the man was talking about. What the man was talking about was her reckless behavior. But what Madison wanted to concentrate on is, I make my own money. That's fine, Madison, you make your own money. But let's talk about the behavior, because what everybody is telling you about is your behavior. But you want to keep switching the conversation to be about you don't make your own money, or that you're so beautiful. No, everybody's saying the same thing to you, Madison. Your behavior is reckless. Your daddy said it. Alan has said it. I'm saying it. Okay, and this little kerfuffle you got going on. And now you're telling me other men have told you you're reckless, right? But you don't want to concentrate on your behavior. You want to do what you want to do. And then Keisha and I said, well, what do you do after that conversation? And what she said was, she went out to a bar and she went drinking with her girlfriends. And I said, what the hell, Madison? And Keisha and I Pulim said the same thing. So let me hear this, Madison, one more time. You got called a party girl and reckless. And when that person called you a party girl and reckless, the way you handled the situation was, you went out to a bar at 3:00 in the morning and you went out having drinking and partying. Madison said, don't call me a party girl, because you know what I'm going to do when you call me a party girl? I'm going to go right out and have a damn party. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to gaslight you to say what you're really trying to say is, I don't make my own money and I'm pretty. Girl, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Wancho said, I don't think that Alan had any malintent. Even David said he didn't think that Alan had any bad intent. Girl, see, David didn't save you like you saved him. I'll tell you, David ain't no caretaker. I'm telling you right now, David is not a caretaker. That's probably why Denise was so easy giving David up, because I bet you there's a point in time where David has not ever cared for Denise. You see, when someone has done something for you throughout your life and maybe been there for you or shown up for you in ways other people haven't, then you might be inclined to lie for them. But the way that Denise lied so fast, so freely, and gave a whole lot of extra information on David tells me David ain't never done a damn thing for Denise. Not a damn thing. And then here he was coming over here expecting her to cover for him. No. David is a taker. I'm telling y'all right now, David is a taker. He took Alan's girl. He's a taker. But these two deserve each other. They really do deserve each other because they're kind of really reckless. Madison is reckless in her behavior, and David is reckless in his lies, in his morality, and whatever happens, happen. I think they're well suited for each other, y'all. I really do. So I wish them well. I wish them well. And David, count yourself as lucky that this didn't work out, because you would have found out sooner or later anyway. So there you go. But that's all we got with the after party, y'all. That's all I got to talk about. I guess next week we're going to see a whole lot going on. But don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.